if someone called me up and was like yelling at me, which happened quite a few times, like a customer or something, I would be like, I'm sorry. I don't come to work to be spoken to that way. Like, I don't, Yeah. But for some reason, people are like, you've put yourself online, you should be getting hate. You should be, I don't think that's fair either.
Hi, you're listening to Sam and Em solve the world's problems.
Big problems, casual conversations.
How many more problems do we have to solve today? So many.
I feel like we're bringing a lot to the table today, actually. You texted me yesterday and were like, I bought an iPhone. Weird story. Got to tell you on a podcast. And now I'm like buzzing to hear it.
We're to the point where we just save conversations for these moments.
Yeah. To be fair,
Yeah.
we talk a lot of the time. Like, we talk often.
Yeah. Yes, but let's get into that story because I did buy a new iPhone, which... If you know me, I've lasted 3 years without upgrading my phone at this rate. So
I feel like that's not impressive.
For me,
yeah, I guess.
I work for a telco and I used to upgrade like every year.
Yeah.
3 years for me. Although to be fair, even this year, like I normally get really excited. I watch like the whole Apple keynote and everything. And even this year I went, do I need it? Like it's getting harder and harder to convince people, I think, to upgrade their phones every year.
Yeah.
But it does have one feature that I really like. The high refresh rate screen, I nerded out about that and I just wanted it. And I do get a discount through work, so it's not that big a deal for me, even though phones are obscenely expensive these days. Yeah. I will admit that. So I ordered the phone, but on Friday night, we did a whiskey tasting online with some friends and I had 6 different little nips of whiskey before the phone thing went live and a couple of beers, add that in. So I was not as coherent maybe as I should have been to order or change my phone plan. I tried a bunch of times and the website kept crashing and it didn't work. And so then when I tried the third time in a different browser or something, it finally went through. I was like, yes, click, buy. So because I didn't want to, but I ordered the wrong one.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that you ordered like 3 and I was like, oh my God.
No, I didn't buy it outright. So it's on my one contract. So I can only get like attach one to it. So I wasn't worried about that. But yeah, I got the wrong size phone.
Which size did you get?
I got the regular one, but I've been wanting the max one.
Yeah.
So I was like, no. So then I was like, I don't know, blind. And then I had to call my telco. Like, can you please fix my order? But obviously they're swamped with calls all night. So anyway, I got onto the phone, this lady from clearly a call center. There's people yelling all in the background from her. And she was so effective, so efficient. Ella, if you're listening to this, you did such a good job.
Shout out to Ella.
While I'm like doing a whiskey tasting with my mates, I'm also like, it felt like I was like a stock trader being like, buy, sell, like just trying to get a freaking iPhone. But yeah, we'll see if it comes.
Yeah.
Or not, but she was great. I did manage to fix the order.
Great.
But yeah, that's my iPhone story.
Nice.
Should be getting a new phone soon. That's exciting.
Nice. I didn't realize they even did a new drop, so that shows what I know.
Yeah. Do you want a new one? You could buy one.
No, I got mine like a month after you got yours, and I'm not done. 3 years is not enough for me. Also, it was so expensive. So
I know. Oh, that's right. We do have the same phone.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Sadness.
Not anymore.
But
I'm moving on.
Yeah. Whatever.
So how was your week?
Well, my week was regular, but we had an interesting story today. Mum was trying to water her plants, and normally she just uses a watering can that she like fills up with the kitchen sink. But today she decided to go outside, turn on a tap that we've never turned on, and use the hose there. And she comes in like kind of really quickly, like flustered. I'm like, what's going on? She's like, I can't turn the tap off. I'm like, what do you mean you can't turn the tap off? Like, how is that possible? You turned it on, you have to be able to turn it off. Like, what do you mean? Anyway, I went down, and I don't know if you know my house, but it's
the
like...
tap like come off or something?
Just you wait. So we're there, we got Dad's box, Dad's interstate, Lachlan wasn't home, so he's the muscles in the family at the moment. We got a bunch of like tools and stuff to try to like turn the tap off, but like we couldn't get a wrench on or anything like that. And so we ended up like hooking a spanner pretty much like around the tap top and then just like twisting it and using the leverage. But the thing there is that it's very easy to just snap the top of it off, which we did.
Oh my God.
We snapped the cross top off. So then we were literally just left with like a stick to try to turn this off. Impossible. Like literally impossible. We tried every single tool. We were on FaceTime to Dad.
How fast was the water running?
We got it.
How much of a disaster was this?
We got it down to about half.
So it's still
but
just
it was
running
still
water.
A lot of water coming out, like wasting so much water. Anyway, Lockie came home. He was trying to help us. We could not. We're literally trying to turn a stick with literally no grip on it at all. Wasn't going to work. Lockie called his plumber friend, who basically just advised us to turn the tap, turn the water off. Oh no, we connected a hose to it that we could. You know how you can stop hoses?
Oh, and kink it.
We connected a hose to it that we could like turn the nozzle so it wouldn't work. And then Mum went to Bunnings, bought a whole new tap, came home, Lachlan turned the water off, unscrewed the entire tap from the thing. We screwed a new tap on and then turned the water back on. And it actually worked out fine. I was like imagining we were going to somehow live the rest of the night with no water because it went horribly.
You were going to have a pool.
But we wasted a lot of water, but we did
new pool.
fix it. So that's great. And we did the best that we could. And it was quite eventful. And as a result,
I can just imagine you all scrambling and yelling at each other trying to get the taps turned off.
As Lachlan gets home, he starts walking towards the front door and I'm like down near the garage, and so I had to call for him. And there was people walking past on the road because it's a Sunday and everybody walks on a Sunday. It was like 5 o'clock. There's heaps of people walking past and I'm like, Lachlan, we have a situation down here. We need you to come and help. And they're like looking at me and I'm like, I don't know what to tell you.
What are you going to do?
Yeah. But yeah, it was quite a disaster, and that's probably the most eventful thing that's happened to me in the whole of lockdown. Yeah.
The tap.
The tap. Other than that, I have been obsessed with camping this week. I've decided that my personality type becomes obsessed with things for like a week, and this week has been camping. I am absolutely obsessed. I want to go so bad.
Like ADHD type thing.
Maybe.
You know?
Maybe. Who knows?
TikTok keeps trying to diagnose me with ADD.
I don't think I have ADHD. I think it's more of normally I don't get obsessive about things because I have other things going on, whereas now I just have uni work that I don't want to do. So all I have is time to sit and obsess about things. So like I got obsessive about a cat. I've been obsessive about moving out, and now I'm obsessed about going camping. Will and I bought a new blow-up mattress and some cooking like pots and pans from Aldi, and I'm absolutely obsessed. I want to go camping so bad. I almost camped in my backyard tonight, but then I thought better of it because I'd been by myself.
That's amazing. Well, speaking of being obsessed with things, I cannot wait to get into our guest conversation today.
A weird segue, but yes.
I'm obsessed with this episode. It was such a good episode. It was such a good chat.
One of my favourites. I've been wanting to interview someone who works in social media for a very, very long time, and today we're doing just that. We have an episode with Josie Lifts Things. I've been following her on Instagram for a hot second, a while, I'd say. I don't know if they're the same thing, hot second and a while, but I've been following her for a while. And this chat was just really, really eye-opening and great. And we talk about social media and diet culture and honestly everything like that. It's really good.
And she was really open and honest with us about all of it. And so it was really great to get her perspective. So go follow her at Josie Lifts Things.
Yeah, Josie Lifts Things on Instagram and on YouTube. Her vlogs are Josie Lifts Things. And she has a podcast called Josie Talks About Things. Go listen to her there if you want to hear more. But listen to us first.
Yeah, listen to this episode and then you can move on. It'll be in the show notes too.
Yeah.
So I hope you enjoy the chat and welcome to the podcast, Josie.
Woo!
Hey, Josie, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me. Hello.
This is so cool. I mean, I feel a little starstruck right now because I have followed you on Instagram for a while. I mean, like starstruck-ish, because also turns out that you and Sam know each other. Just a weird story, but...
It's like, small world, I think we went to high school together, and it's so funny because when you brought it up, I knew exactly who you were.
Your first thing was like, he was really short, wasn't he? And I'm like, yes, he was.
That was my defining characteristic in high school, 100%.
I remember being the same size as, like, same height as Sam for a long time, I think. And he's 3 years older than me, so that was fun.
Yeah, he was fun sized, as they say.
Yeah.
Yeah, what I remember, we did a musical together
Yeah.
in high school. That's what I remember.
What did you play in it?
I was a Wickersham brother in the Zoosicle.
Oh, yes, I was the sour kangaroo.
Yes, the kangaroo, that's right. Yeah. So we go way
really
back.
well. They cast me really well for that one.
Emily came to me. She's been so excited to like interview an influencer for such a long time, and she was like, "Oh, you know, I've been following this person for such a long time." Blah blah. Blah. And I was like, "Hang on a minute, I think I know her."
I know her. Can I just say, I am so flattered. Like, I don't call myself like an influencer or anything like that, but like, I'm so flattered that like of everyone, you're like, I like her.
Yeah.
It's a good feeling. Yeah, I like it. It's like social media. That's the good thing about it, which obviously but connecting people and things like that. And I don't know. I feel like you know people without knowing them. You know what I mean?
I feel like that's something you're particularly good at in like making sure that the people who follow you actually know about you, and you're pretty good at being like vulnerable and open on your social media. So it does feel like you actually know who you're talking to. It's great. It's.
And can I ask you how you found her account? Like how you originally started following her?
No, because I don't know the answer.
No.
I was thinking about this before. I was like, I literally have no idea how I found your page. I don't know if it was like in Explore or if somebody had tagged you in something. I have no memory of finding your page, but I think I followed it for over a year. So
I love you.
I think it was like,
I love that.
Yeah, it was definitely fitness that brought me to it. And now it's interesting, like seeing your I've watched all your vlogs. They're so good. Like literally when you started posting them, I was like, oh, they're not very long. Like that's different. And then you said like, it says on them like to watch them with a cup of coffee in the morning. And that is actually perfect. Like it's the best thing to do before, because I'm like midway through all these assignments. It's the first thing I do before I start any work, and it's so good. And like all this new lifestyle content, I'm really loving it. So.
Oh, okay.
Good
That
job.
means so much to me, because I feel like from someone who you're meant to have a niche, right? And I feel like forever it was fitness, and it was my fitness journey and all that stuff. But like at the moment, and I found it really hard to transition or post or anything for a while, because this whole year I haven't done anything really fitness related. So for ages I was like, what am I going to post? I'm not into fitness right now. And then I'm just like, why do I have to be? I was like, why can't I show the things I'm doing now instead? And it has been a transition. But I think that's the beauty of it, you know? Like I like to, and what you said before really like makes me really happy, because I like to just be me. Like I know that there's a lot of people who are like, I don't know, you know, fitness completely influencers or you know, makeup people or things like that. I'm not one thing, so it's like really hard for me now to be just fitness. And I like to just show you that I'm, I guess, like you, we're all the same. Like I'm not special. So it's really cool that like that picks up a lot with me, that's what you got, that it's kind of more genuine and everything, because that's literally the point of my page. I know there's a lot of people that might have the point of like teaching you how to do something, which is really cool, but like I'm still learning how to do things. I don't want to teach you how to do, I don't know.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's really cool that like that's what I like to put across, that it's just kind of like I'm just a regular gal.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely comes across. And I think that is a good segue into the first problem we're solving today, which is all social media. Like Sam kind of said, I have been wanting to do an episode about social media for a long time, because Sam and I have like, you know, the perspective of we just use social media. We're trying to get into using it for promotion, for the podcast, stuff like that. It is so hard. And like realizing how hard it is, how much work goes into it. I wanted to talk to someone who like does it for work.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, what's it like? What's it like being a job?
Look, how much time do we have? It's a lot. Like, and it's hard because it's changed. Like I really started focusing on my Instagram, I would probably say around 2017. So what's that? That's like 4-ish years ago. And that's when I was like really trying to push it somewhere other than just like posting pictures of my granola. You know what I mean? But it's changed since then. I think in that time I grew the most because I found that and no one likes to blame the algorithm, but it's true. It changes. It's a saturated market now, but back then I think it was a little bit easier to get that like organic growth and everything like that. So I think the hardest part is, well, there's lots of hard parts, but one of the things is it's really hard not to focus on numbers. And, you know, there's always going to be someone with more followers than you, more likes than you, more shares than you, more brand deals than you, more everything. You know, it's hard not to focus on, oh, that post didn't go well, or what time should I post. It's, for me, like I said, it's a hard one for me because I like to be just natural. So it's hard trying to balance that and knowing that you kind of have to do certain things to make it a business. Like you have to sort of get the most reach that you can, the most engagement that you can. And cause it's changed so much, it's hard to keep up with, you know, oh, now I have to do more hashtags, or now I have to create reels, or now I have to do that. And especially because for so long, like we didn't create video content on Instagram. It was a photo sharing platform, if you know what I mean. So I think it's hard trying to keep up with the times and things like that, and not focusing on the fact that, you know, you just have to be, the only thing that you have that separates you from everyone else is being yourself, if that makes sense. So I think it's
do you
hard.
find that constant like adapting to the algorithm kind of almost like crushes your authenticity a little bit? Or
I find for me, I would rather sacrifice the algorithm stuff and the things to continue to be myself. But I know that there's a lot of people who are the other way around, which is totally cool. It's a smart business decision. But for me, it's hard to do that because I'm literally, all I want to do is be me.
Yeah.
Well, I think that what's appealing about you and about, you know, why we follow people in the first place is when their personality shines through whatever product they're selling, and that's kind of what is successful. So I guess it would be a really hard balancing act.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And especially, I don't know how much you want me to go into it, but when there's brand deals involved, you know, some brands they will tell you what to put in a caption, like when you get the brief of the paid or collaboration or whatever, and they'll write a caption for you and they'll tell you post with only a white background, only this, only that, wearing pink clothes, for example, or something. And I turn them down.
That's a lot of control.
Yeah. Some brands
relinquish.
Some brands are the complete opposite. So some brands will be like, and that's the ones that I work with, the ones that are like, you know what, we're hiring you as a creator. You go do your thing. You know what I just thought of, which is really cool, like literally just then. It's kind of like a tattoo artist, no? Like you're hiring that person and trusting them to do their work like they can do it, if that makes sense. So I like brands like that. I love brands like that. I can't do the collaborations where it's stock standard and you're like everyone else. People do though, but you know, nothing against anyone. It's just that it is a hard game to play because obviously you turn down you're turning down money, you're turning down it's a hard one to juggle.
I would imagine that the brands that actually do allow creators to put out their regular content with their brands are probably the more successful brands online. They're probably the ones that actually understand how the internet works and what they're doing. I feel like if you're paying a creator, like from a brand perspective, to put a plastered ad with the right background, the right clothes and everything, they're basically just paying for an actual ad and they may as well just sponsor a post. Like, what's
my
the
thoughts
point?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you know what as well, like the other hard thing is that there's no, like it's kind of really hard to get an industry standard. Like obviously you look up cafe barista wage, it's what, $21 an hour or something.
Yeah.
You don't
What labor union is there?
Facts.
Yeah.
So it's like hard because I feel like there's a lot of people, which again isn't a bad thing, that take work for free, like gifted product, all that kind of stuff. And not to say I've never done it, we've all done it, but it's just the fact that like brands then, if you're trying to charge what you're worth as a creator, sometimes it's really hard because a lot of the brands can just be like, oh, it's okay, we'll go to someone else who won't charge. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like it's a business, I think, which is hard to understand because before I left my last job, I do this obviously full time now, but before I left it, obviously I had my own wage and my own thing from the jobs that I did, you know, in real life, in real life,
moving into fake life.
Yeah. rather than the online space.
Yeah.
So you don't really, I guess I didn't really care as much. I was just like, yeah, I'll take something for free. I have my money anyway. But when I guess it moves into, I've really noticed this year especially, I mean, I did paid collaborations back then as well for years, but I think it's different when like your bills and stuff
depend on it,
I suppose. Yeah.
What's the process of like starting to monetize your page, starting to grow your page kind of like? Because I mean, like I see our Instagram page with like a tiny amount of followers and I just think of like how are we ever going to grow that? What is that process ever going to look like? Like literally, how do you appeal to more people? How did your page sort of find its way to getting a following?
Honestly, if I knew, I'd probably have more followers. It's a super hard one. I do think that, like I said, it is a little bit harder these days with so many people sort of in the space. I do think that it's, you know what? Can I say something that might be a little bit controversial? I think, I'm not going to ask, I'm going to say it. I think it's better to have a small following in some ways. And that is because you have more of an, like, I guess you can call it engagement rate, but there's more people that trust you in a way. I feel like if, I don't know, obviously having a lot of followers is also, I guess, good too, but you're probably only going to get 1% of those people who trust you enough, I guess, to buy something from you or follow you or do whatever you're doing. But I feel like if you have a smaller community, I feel like sometimes, you know, they're people that actually resonate with you and like want to trust you and you have that relationship with more people than I think if you had a bigger following. So even it's not actually a bad thing.
The fact that I could swipe up into your DMs and message you and talk to you and like get you on my podcast just kind of speaks to that. Like it's a much more of a community feel and like it adds to that sense that you're a genuine person, that, you know, you're not so far out of reach because you've got this like ridiculous following and you don't respond to anyone. And like it's nice to know that like you matter to the person you're following, I guess.
I think yeah, you go.
I was going to say, I just wanted to give the opportunity to shout out to our listeners because we do have, like, we don't have the biggest following ever, but we have a lot
really
of
loyal people who come back every single time and listen to us.
Our listeners are amazing, so shout out.
Oh, I love that. And you know what? Like, that is so good. Like, to have people who listen to you and you know, it's just... And when people, it hits me, like when people like message me, like you guys now, you're like making my heart happy. Like, and like people who listen to my podcast and people who are like, oh, I listen to you on my morning walk. Like that still gets me. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, it like really hits my heart. And to have that, you know, what I think is a small community of people who like you, not that like I'm here to be liked, I'm here to be me. And if you like me, that's cool. But it's more of the fact that like, you guys are great.
Yeah.
Like the people who listen, like it's really cool to have that support. And especially as creators, like I know that we put a lot of time and effort into things that are sometimes unpaid for a while. It's good to have people that are like in your corner. So thanks guys for listening.
Yeah. On the flip side of that, do you think, do you feel like you have almost an obligation or responsibility to the people who follow you?
Ooh.
Like honest answers, like...
Yeah, I'm always honest. Don't you worry about that. I think yes, but that's me. I think a lot of people would say no. I think yes, but in a good way. Like as in like for me, you guys follow me. Like you're supporting me. The least I can do is talk to you, like, or get back to you, or as best I can, or you know, try and do it back. I think that's the least you can do for someone. I think that no one is above anyone else, and I feel like, you know, that little bit of support from you guys, from people who follow you or your community, like, I don't want to say like I'm not a nice person, but like I feel like I just want to be nice to you too.
Yeah. It's like a mutual respect type thing.
Yeah.
Which I really like. I've heard you say so much the word community instead of like following, which I was literally saying to Em before we started recording today, that like this, I feel like this is the difference between certain social media, like TikTok versus Instagram, for example. Like I see TikTok is really community focused, where, you know, people participate and add to trends and add to communities. Like there's this like mutual kind of like way that people blow up and what kind of thing. And whereas Instagram is more of an audience feel sometimes. I think Instagram can definitely have more of a community, and I love the way that you describe like that community feel. And I think that's probably why you're so appealing, why so many people follow you. But yeah, it was just cool to hear that.
If this is like Give Josie compliments day, I love it. You're making me feel so good. Yeah, I think you're right. I honestly, like, I hate the word following. I don't call myself an influencer. Like, I just don't. You're right. For me, it's more of a community. Like, or like, you know, people who support me. Like, I hate the word following. Like, like even when
it's very one-sided, isn't it?
Yeah,
exactly my point.
Sheep, you know, like
Yeah, and I don't want it to be that way. Like, I feel like I'm very focused on keeping myself, I don't know, grounded or humble, but like I said before, like, I'm literally just myself. So it's hard for me to think like, oh, I'm an influencer. And it's actually really funny because like back in the day, like years ago when I was growing my page, that's probably the most, a lot of people would like meet me and they're like, oh, 10K followers, you're Instagram famous. And I'm just like, no, I'm not. Like I didn't even like it back then. So I feel like it's something that, you know, I just think it's me. I don't know. I just feel like I'm just like you. I'm not like
that's a really healthy and like level-headed way to look at it.
Thank you. Yeah. And like I said, like, I know that there's people that are the complete opposite, which is, you know, fine too. But I just feel like you're supporting me, I should support you. I'm not going to just take and not give, if that makes sense, as much as I can. Yeah.
I want to ask some like messier side of Instagram questions.
Yeah. Fire away.
How do you navigate like the pressure to post about politics and world events and things going on? Like, I know my first instinct is like the Black Lives Matter movement, all the, you know, people being cancelled on whether or not they spoke up about the issue. Like, how do you navigate that sort of stuff?
Oh, that's a good question. That's a hard one. I find that in some way you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. And it's very obviously individual. Whichever path you choose, if you want to speak out about it, you can. If you don't, you also are entitled to that. I feel like a lot of people give influencers this, not obligation, but like expectation that they have to do something or they have to do this and that. And obviously in some cases you probably should do things, but at the end of the day, I just find that we're just people. Yeah. So if you're essentially bullying someone, like people can do what they want, right? So it's really hard for people to be like, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. It's kind of like if you had a whole bunch of followers, hundreds of thousands, millions, that's a lot of pressure for someone to take. Yeah. And maybe they're not okay with taking that. Maybe you're making them not okay, if that makes sense. So I find that like if you do speak out, there's going to be people who don't agree. There's going to be people that agree. If you don't, if you have, you know, people might be like, why aren't you saying something? I feel like no matter what you do, there's someone's going to have an issue with it. And that's kind of like that quote. It's like so cliche, but it's like you could be like the ripest peach, but like there's going to be someone who doesn't like peaches. You know what I mean? Yeah. But like it's kind of like that. Like it's like no matter what you do, sometimes not everyone's going to like you. So you kind of have to be okay with that. But I'm actually, I just want to say, I'm so blessed and so lucky that I don't get much like hate or negativity on my page. I'm very blessed that I hardly do.
I hate that you have to say that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because it's almost a part of it. Like we expect that if you have a following, you're going to get hate these days. Yeah. It's just how it goes.
And it's
like
not.
You're not lucky for not
cool.
getting hate. People suck.
Yeah. Exactly right. Like this is the way I see it. Like especially when I had like my 9 to 5, whatever it was. If someone called me up and was like yelling at me, which happened quite a few times, like a customer or something, I would be like, I'm sorry. I don't come to work to be spoken to that way. Like, I don't, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. But for some reason, people are like, oh, you've put yourself online. You should be getting hate. You should be. I don't think that's fair either. I feel like
it's almost like that tall poppy syndrome. Like, you got to tear them down. Like,
yeah,
they have a follow. It's almost like you forget they're human once they reach a certain level.
And exactly. And for me, I'm just like, everyone's a human behind it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And it would be really tough to navigate having such a big following. Like, we're talking, you know, like hundreds of thousands even,
Cannot
millions.
imagine it.
It'd be hard to constantly get all that pressure from people being like, do this, do that. It's like,
I've seen in the comments, people go crazy about how have you not mentioned the crisis in Afghanistan? I'm like, if you want to be hearing from this person who posts dance videos on TikTok about their opinion on Afghanistan, you're the problem here. Like,
facts.
Maybe go listen to an expert on that. Don't put the obligation on them to talk about it.
And that's sort of my next point. I'm not an expert. Like, I don't know about things. Like, I'm honestly, this might make me sound really bad. I don't care, but I don't know about politics. I don't know, like, before I met my partner, I didn't know what, like, party, like, liberal, labor. I don't know politics well. I don't know what's going on in the world.
But why should
you
have to?
Yeah.
Exactly. So for me, it's hard to give you an opinion on something I know nothing about. Like, I would rather make an informed decision. And this comes back to, like, if we're talking fitness again, someone who sells an ebook on how to, you know, count calories who don't even know themselves because they haven't got educated. It's like, you shouldn't be talking, I don't talk on things that I don't know anything about. If I have a strong opinion on something, that's a different story, but I still feel like you should know something about it. I'm not an expert. You shouldn't, I think, go to people who don't know about things to get your opinion. And you're right. If you want to know about it, like, go and learn, I guess. But it's like a hard one because, I think either way, someone's not going to like what you do. So,
yeah. I think the argument is a lot of the time like, oh, you have a platform, you should be using it for good. But it's like, if you build a platform off of makeup tutorials and dance videos, why would anyone expect you to be an expert in the world's conflicts? Like, that just doesn't make any sense. But there are experts out there who talk about those things. Like, you can seek them out. So
yeah,
it's definitely the onus on the person having the issue, you know?
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. And I really think that there's some correlation. I think you're right, Sam. Like, if you're having a go at someone for not doing something that you want them to do or something, like, you're the problem. Like, you know, like, it's not, I find it really perplexing that people expect people to do things for them, which, again, if you do have a following, like, I mean, I would use it for good. People can use it for whatever they want. I feel like I would obviously use it for a good way, but someone's good might be different to your good anyway. Like, what, you know?
Well, yeah, if you're like building people up, helping them feel happy and confident about themselves, you are using your platform for good. Just because you then don't talk about this one political issue that needs attention doesn't mean you're not using your platform for good. It depends on the person's definition.
I do think that there's 100% agree with you. And I do think that there's, you know, some topics that probably should be discussed more, but whether you want to or not, that's completely up to you, I think. Yeah. It's a hard one because I just don't like the whole, you know, you're expected to do things just because you have something. I'm just a person in my home, you know?
Yeah.
It's a hard one. Yeah.
Yeah. How do you fear being cancelled or saying the wrong thing? Is that, I mean, I wanted to ask about hate, but you kind of touched on it already. But yeah, do you feel the sense of sometimes monitoring what you say because you don't want to offend people, or are you able to just sort of switch that off and be genuine?
Yeah, I think it's funny. So I, as a person, like, my mum raised me to be, like, I guess, respectful and think of other people and things like that. But I'm also very opinionated. So if I do have a very strong opinion about something, I'm probably going to voice it. And I guess it just comes back to the fact that I'm really good at not really caring about what people think of me. I know a lot of people do care a lot, which is totally fine. I just don't care, like, at all. And I'm also very, I guess, honest. I'm going to say what I think. And again, if you don't like me, that's cool. Unfollow me. Like, it's kind of like if you're like choosing to consume my content, that's up to you in a way. I'm not going to be like, unfollow me, I'm ungrateful. It's just like, though, if you don't like someone, don't follow them. Yeah. And if I think something, I'm most likely going to say it. So, and you know what? This is the other thing I want to say, especially with what's going on in the world right now. If you don't agree with what someone's saying, or you don't agree with like a stance that they have, you can still be their friend and like them. You know what I mean? I think that a lot of people, I mean, you don't have to, but I think that there's a lot of like things going on in the world right now. And I feel like we're all allowed to have a difference of opinion. If you still want to be friends with that person or like them, you still can. Yeah. Obviously you don't have to, but I just feel like, basically, to answer your question, I'm going to say what I'm going to say. Yeah. And if you like it, that's cool. If you don't, that's also cool. But I do think that there's a lot of people who would censor things just to be, I guess, liked, but that's not really me.
Yeah. I want to say as well, I don't think, prefacing that question, we don't think you have any reason you would ever want to be cancelled. So there's no worry with that.
No,
I don't think.
Thank you.
Yeah. But we just talk about cancel culture a lot, and we've never been able to like ask someone who could actually be cancelled. You know what I mean? Like, we have 200 followers. We're not going to be cancelled.
Yeah, we got nothing to lose, mate.
I do
cancel us.
I do think that, sorry, I laugh really loud. Everyone turn your volume down for a second. I do think as well, though, like, people do also make mistakes.
Yeah.
And whether you want to, quote unquote, cancel someone for that is up to you. But at the same point, we're all human. We're all going through life. We're all make mistakes. If you can think of a time where you've never made a mistake, you're wrong, first of all. So if you
There's your mistake right there.
Yeah. So if you can point your hand at someone and say, you know, you've done this, blah, blah, blah. I mean, obviously there's circumstances where it might be warranted to say things like that and not like them for those things. But I do think as well that everyone does things along the line somewhere that we probably aren't proud of. We don't, you know. So I do think there's also some room out there to be a little bit more forgiving sometimes. Yeah. But also there are situations where if a person continuously shows that they're not a nice person and they have no intent to change, then that's probably a different story. But, you know, it's all discretion. It's all how people feel. I feel like, you know, if someone does one thing and we all cancel them, it's a bit like chill out, you know, like unless it's horrible. But I don't know. I do think it's obviously, I'm saying this, that, or the other. There's obviously grey. It's not black and white. But
that's exactly right.
I just feel like, you know, everyone should just be a little bit nicer to each other sometimes online.
Absolutely.
I do think there's a lot of people who just think that because then I know a lot of people who would say something online to someone that they wouldn't say to their face. And I think that ain't cool. Anything I say to anyone, I would say it to them. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think it's a weird world we live in with the online space. And you have to think as well, like going on a tangent for a sec, this hasn't been around for a long time. You know what I mean? We haven't had the internet or the online space.
New.
It's so new. So I feel like we're navigating this thing that like we can talk to people without seeing them and, oh, what can I say if I don't have to reap the ramifications and things like that. But I think we all just remember that everyone's human at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I've asked everything that I wanted to ask. Do you have anything left, Sam?
No, not necessarily. No, I love that. That was a great chat about stuff. I'm super keen to get into the next problem.
Yeah.
Which is all about fitness, right?
Yeah.
Ooh. Here we
Heck
go.
yeah.
Something I haven't
about
done
kind
properly
of
for a while.
fitness and also like the content that you create as well.
Yeah.
Yay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hit me.
I don't really
I
know
love
where
this
to
topic.
start.
I love this.
This is like the first time that we've ever had a fitness chat with like a woman and not a man. Every time, like, no shade, but we've had Blake on, we've had another friend, Adam, on, and we've talked about their experiences in the gym, but I don't think we've talked about, like, I guess I've seen a lot of, on different fitness influencers pages, I've seen a lot of people asking, like, how do you get the confidence to go into the gym and all that kind of stuff? Maybe we should start there. What would your, like, tips be?
Okay, so here we go. Okay. So this is, again, I think you've almost picked the wrong person because I don't have that problem. Like, it's really hard for me to relate, like me as a person who I am, it's sometimes hard for me to relate to people who aren't like me, and that's a character fault of my own, like, but I'm aware of it. I find it hard because, and for me also, like I said, I'm very honest and I'm very straightforward. So sometimes when people are like, how do I get the confidence? I'm like, just do it. Like, it sounds really silly, but you just have to do it, I think.
No, I think that's really good advice. You just have to start.
Yeah, and I think as well, women in the gym, obviously there's like the random creeper who are here or there, but like I think women in the gym, no one's looking at you as much as you think they are. Like, especially if you go to the gyms that I've been to and I've worked at and everything like that, honestly, the boys care more about getting their bloody PB than they do about what you look like.
Dudes are so self-obsessed, mate. I've been trying to tell people, like, and girls that are not keen to go to the gym, like, guys are literally looking at themselves, and like, guys are there for themselves.
They can prove it. I literally was dropping a bench press on myself, and I mean, it wasn't very heavy, so I wasn't going to die or anything, but I was like in the process of dropping it, and it took a while for someone to notice and help me. So,
like, it was only like 150 kilos. I mean, it was no big deal. Like, it was just like
it was the bar. I'm pretty
warm-up
sure.
set, right?
Yeah, warm-up set.
120. Yeah, easy, easy, no big.
But it took a while for someone to even notice. So like, nobody cares.
No one cares. And the thing is that as well, everyone starts somewhere. And I know that sometimes you can walk into the gym and see these people that are like super fit and they look like, but they've been doing that for what, 5, 10, 15, 20 years? Like it's really hard, but they looked like you at some point. Like everyone starts somewhere. And I guess for me, because I'm very prone to yo-yo dieting, so what I'll do, which is not healthy, but I'll get really, really, really fit, and then I'll put all the weight back on again. And then I'm like, oh, look, I should probably start working out again. Then I'll get really, really fit. So for me, I have to relive that feeling of stepping into the gym as the quote unquote new person often. So for me, and especially, I guess it is a little bit harder coming from like, I guess the competitive fitness space, is that I know what I can look like, but like I don't look like that right now. But at the end of the day, if I don't go to the gym today, I'm not going to look like that at any point anyway. So you just need to start. And, if we're talking about literal tips, if it helps you to wear a jumper in the gym, wear a jumper. If it helps you to take some dumbbells and go in the corner and set up in the corner, do it. If it takes you to go to a 24/7 gym and go at nighttime or in the morning when there's not that many people there, do those things. But at the end of the day, I think it will grow you more as a human being, as a person, to start to learn that you can't live your life by what other people are going to think of you. You just have to do what makes you happy. And like I said before, if you don't start today, you're not going to get to where you want to be. So I think you just have to just do it. Yeah. As simple as that sounds, I think that's the only thing to do. And it is a hard one, because I literally, I'm probably my heaviest weight at the moment. My biggest closed thighs, I don't like to go on scale weight. I think it's a bad thing, but I am at my largest at the moment, and I still would rock up to the gym in a crop and shorts. I will say though, it did take me a really long time to wear shorts in public. When I was younger, I don't know if you remember this, Sam, you probably don't, but I got bullied a lot for having big legs. And
no, I do not remember that. And I hope I wouldn't remember that. I hope I wasn't part of that.
You weren't at all, but I did get bullied. I mean, not just at school, but at home as well. I feel like I had a grandpa who was very harsh on me. Love him dearly. He's obviously gone now, but he was a very honest human being. So I got a lot of things about my legs, but what's in now? Big legs. So
that's it.
I think you have to just realize that you have what you have, and at some point it might be in, you know what I mean? Like, things always change. You shouldn't do what you're doing to look a certain way for people. You should do what you're doing for you. Like, I grew my legs because I liked the look of them, even if no one else did. I didn't care. But it did take a little bit to wear shorts in public because of that, I guess, bullied from when I was younger. But when I got to the point where I was still quite young, but I was just like, you know what? Nah, I don't care. I'm gonna wear my shorts. But yeah, I think it's you just have to not care. I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think letting go of what other people think of you, because and realizing how much they just genuinely don't.
Yeah.
Like they're just not thinking about you.
Yeah.
Like you have to have a bit of an ego to, I think, be thinking that people are thinking of you all the time or people are staring at you. They're not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Most of the time they're not.
100%.
Yeah.
And I think it would be hard is if you hadn't really had much gym experience or you didn't know what to do, and you're probably in this gym where you don't know how to use things, and you're probably like, oh, everyone's staring at me, I don't know what to do, everyone knows what they're doing. I mean, number one, they're not looking at you, they're doing their own set. But number two, like I said, we've all been there, and I was there. What I used to do, which is funny, I used to go on YouTube, literally stand next to a machine, go on YouTube, look at the like writing on the machine and be like, oh, this is an isolateral pull down. Look at YouTube while I was standing next to this machine and like look at how to use it. Like there's ways, and obviously you're gonna learn.
I still do that.
Me
Me too.
Still do that.
Me too. I went to a gym up here because obviously I went to the same gym down in Sydney for, I think I just yelled in the microphone, my bad. I went to the gym down in Sydney for years and years. I worked there and trained there for 4 or 5 years. Come up here and there's machines I've never freaking seen before. And I'm like, what the is this? And I had to like look it up or ask someone. And I've been training I started when I was 16. I'm 26. I've been training for 10 years and I still do that. So there's no shame in not knowing or asking someone for help. Most people are going to be happy to help you. You know, like I feel like, yeah, you just have to.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's all okay.
I feel like a good.
Can I ask what?
I was just going to say, I feel like a good tip is like go with somebody, like go with a friend. If neither of you have gone before, go with them. You can figure it out together. Or if you've got a brother, a friend, a partner, somebody else who has gone to a gym before, like drag them, let them teach you. But also I found that I've tried 2 different gyms now and both of them offered like a free coaching session at the very beginning, and I literally just used that to get them to teach me how to use the equipment that I wanted to use. Like we did like a 30-minute session and it was like one set on everything because I just wanted to know how it all worked. And that was really helpful for me like starting out at the gym. So
yeah. I think it's interesting you say that because I started when I was 16. I didn't join the gym with anyone. I had sort of no friends at the gym that I went to. I'm an only child.
What motivated you to go if you didn't have friends who were into it? Like, how did you?
Yeah, so this is a couple of things actually. Number one, everyone was telling me my legs were fat, so I was just like, let me.
Yeah, okay.
But that was one thing. The other thing is that I watched this, and this actually ties into that. I watched this girl on YouTube. Her name was Nikki Blackadder. Do you guys know her? She's like still like semi-big. She was with Gymshark or whatever. Anyway, don't watch her anymore. But back then, 10 years ago, she was sort of the first girl on YouTube that lifted weights. And I looked at her body and I was just like, oh, I like that. And then I was kind of like watching her workouts on YouTube. I'm like, okay, so you have to lift weights to get to look like that, because she had obviously like muscly legs, a bigger booty, you know, like I don't want to use toned, but like, do you know what I mean? Like I'm just trying. I hate that word. There is no such thing. You build muscle anyway.
Yes.
But
that's right.
I'm trying to describe the look of a person.
Strong and like
strong.
Yeah.
And yeah, strong. And I was just kind of like, oh, like if I have to lift weights to look like that, that'd be really cool. And then I was 16, and mum had to sign for me to go to the gym on my own. And it started off as wanting to lose weight, and then it very quickly moved into wanting to lift weights and be strong. And that's how I get that look.
That's such a common like goal progression.
Yeah. And I wasn't a cardio person for very long at all because I've never liked it. I've never been good at it. But I do think that everyone kind of starts at that point, which is totally cool. But if you're listen. If you're a woman and you're out there, lifting weights is so much more beneficial. It is so much better for, like, I mean, obviously cardiovascular fitness is healthy as well, but it's just unparalleledly superior to anything else. Building a strong muscular system. And this is the thing. If you look at me, which you can't because you're listening on a podcast, basically, if you look at me, and again, like I said, I'm not at my fittest, but if you look at me, I am not jacked. So if a woman is it's hard for me to say this though, because I've been around it for so long. It's hard for me to think that girls still think that, if that makes sense. But I've been doing this for 10 years, lifting weights for 10 years, sometimes on and off. But predominantly 10 years worth and I don't look like a man, you're not going to look like a man. Weights are so beneficial. And again, I don't know what I'm talking about because I'm not qualified, but it just is. And I think if you do some of your own research, it's just so much better for you. I do know as well about having my back injury. Every time I train, I strengthen my core, I strengthen the muscles around my back, and my back feels better. I just think that lifting weights is just so much better for everyone. I don't know how we got to that topic, but like, if you're thinking about doing it, then do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. But I love how you say that. Like it makes you strong. You must feel so much healthier though, right? As well, because like you say, you're not an expert or you're not like a fitness like expert, but I mean, you can talk to your personal experience about how it's made you feel. And yeah, I mean, from my personal experience too, lifting weights was the best thing that I ever started doing. It just makes, I feel so much better. But coming back to that, we've been in lockdown for a significant amount of time now. And the first lockdown we did, I was really motivated and I went out and I got like some gym equipment. We even hired some.
You're better than me.
Like we had an Olympic bar last year and I was able to stay sane because I was able to lift. This lockdown, I went, fuck it, I'm a spiral.
Yeah.
I don't even care.
I'm a spiral.
And I didn't bother even trying to find a place to rent any weights or anything, and I've just been sedentary.
Yeah.
And I feel terrible.
Same. Yep, 100%.
I was just going to say, my brother is completely the opposite. And my dad doesn't go to gyms. He always trains at home. So we have like a set of dumbbells that you can change the weights on pretty easily. And my brother made an Olympic barbell out of a plank of wood and some rope. He ties the dumbbells to the plank of wood so that he has an Olympic barbell. It's amazing because now I get to use it, but I didn't have to put any work in.
Yeah, well, I mean, if I had any engineering experience, I could probably find something.
He says he was on FaceTime with my dad for 2 hours trying to figure out how to do it. And eventually they just nailed put some little staples into the wood so that the rope wouldn't move. Like, that's all that they came to after 2 hours.
That's amazing.
It worked out well for me. Yeah.
It would. Yeah, it's funny that you say that though, because last lockdown I had nothing either. And I was training quite hard before that. And I actually ended up coming back out of lockdown and got really fit last year for the other end of the year. But I didn't do anything during the lockdown either, but I didn't have anything. I actually tried to order a barbell set with some weights and it wasn't due to come until like November. Like, so, 8 months after I needed it, I was like, no.
I did that.
But it's funny because this lockdown, it's just funny how different I am because I'm obviously lived with my boyfriend now and he has like a garage gym, not big, but you have like your dumbbells, you have like a squat rack and you have a treadmill and you have those things. Have I used them? Probably twice.
Yeah, it's different too. Yeah. Actually going to a gym, I can I'll work out. I'll have a great workout at home. It is hard to be motivated to do anything.
I'm the complete opposite. The actual process of driving to and from the gym makes me not want to go because I don't have the time to drive, but I have the time for the workout. I just don't have the time to go to the gym.
The driving to the gym is the best. You sip your pre-workout, you put on some tunes, you get in the mood, you start pumping it up.
Maybe I need to make it a ritual or something because I hate that bit.
It's amazing.
Also, the drive home from the gym, I feel like is always my peak.
Yep.
Like I always feel so good because I got literally diagnosed yesterday or today with celiac. I didn't know that I'm literally like deathly allergic to gluten. And so like I just felt terrible for ages, but the only time that I felt great was on the way home from the gym. I'd have the windows down and like the endorphin rush or whatever from the workout. And I just felt so good.
Yeah, yeah.
So I've been missing that so much.
Yeah, same. And especially because like I said, like last year I got really fit towards the end of last year. And then this year I kind of haven't. Like I said, like yo-yo, which isn't obviously good to do. I really have to learn balance. That's like my goal for this year and it's coming along very slowly. But yeah, it feels a lot different. And I think as well, the hardest part for people is starting. Like the hardest part for me is starting. But I literally can't work out at home. For me, home's relaxation or something like that. And the gym is where I go to train. Like I go there, I do my thing and I come home and that's it. But yeah, I think that it is hard to just start. But once you start and you start seeing the progression and the results, that's when you like you get in the zone, but it's really hard for me to just like start. And actually, I don't know if you know this, the day that I was like, oh, I'm going to go back to start training, I feel not great right now, I don't fit into my clothes, was the day we went into lockdown. So
of course it was.
literally the day.
I'm so sorry.
The day. And I was so pumped. What is it now? It was back then, it was July, June or something. And I'd spent the first 6 months of this year like eating whatever, not really caring, wanting a break from the gym. But the day I was like, I bought new gym clothes. I was like, yeah, I'm going to wear them today. I'm going to go to the gym. Oh, we're going into lockdown from 5 p.m. I was like, cries.
Yeah.
but this is the thing. Like, I do have it here. It's just, I think it's starting. And once you get started, yeah.
I was going to ask about what you think about like diet culture and all the toxic things that come with trying to like be a woman in the fitness industry, I guess, because we can talk about that as opposed to what we normally talk about.
Of course. So this is a thing. I hate people who, okay, that's really strong wording, but like I really don't like it when people who aren't qualified or know what they're talking. Actually, can I go on a rant for a second? And
absolutely.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
So there was this girl on TikTok and I can't remember her name because she blocked me and I can't go back and check, but she was putting up these day in the lives of what I
saw your
eat.
Story about this. Yes.
Oh, girl. All right. I'm getting settled in.
I'm taking my
So this girl, I understand she has the best of intentions and she probably doesn't understand what she's doing. I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt, all right? But she was putting up these day in the lives of what I eat, putting up the calories on the screen, blah, blah, blah. And it was totaling like around 1,300 calories for the day. And I looked at this and I was just like, surely not. Like, surely not, because we should be eating to fuel our bodies. Like, obviously, if you want to lose weight, you do have to be in a caloric deficit, but oh, and also like that will get me on like keto and diet culture in a second. But you can't be in that much of a deficit. That's the calories for like a toddler. And again, I'm not qualified, so it's really hard for me to give advice. But from my personal experience and being in the industry for 10 years, you need to know what you're talking about to tell people. And this is the thing for me with the whole social media and everything like that. You do have a responsibility to an extent that people are going to follow what you do and think that it's correct. And this girl was putting out 1,300 calorie things for the day, and all of her comments, she had, I don't know, almost, I don't even remember because I didn't look at her page much, but like 50 to 80,000 followers. And all of these girls are in the comments saying like, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to try that, I'm going to lose weight. And for me, that is so dangerous because this is number one, the onus is on both people, because if you're a person and you're trusting what a girl on TikTok is saying about what she's eating, that's a bit of a problem. But if you're also putting that out there for people and acting like you're educating them, that's also a problem, because not only then, but she had like a buy my ebook as to how to count calories or something in her bio.
There's also an element of like some of those girls might be too young to know better. Yeah, you know, like her followers.
Yeah, and there was the link in her bio to buy something to do with her fitness thing, and I asked her, I was like without being rude, like I was very respectful about it, to be honest, but I was just like, my first comment was something along the lines of like, wow, like I'm actually kind of concerned. Like I came from a place of like, you probably shouldn't be giving the people this information. And she really snarked back at me and was like, I said, did you not read my posts? This is, I was supposed to hit 16 or 1,700 or something, but I didn't. I was just like, then post on a day that you hit it. Like, I understand that, you know, the whole genuine thing, that's maybe what she did for that day. So this is where the gray bit comes in, where you can be honest, this is what I ate today. But I scrolled back through her page and like every single one of those things she did was 1,300 calories, 1,400 calories, 1,450, 13, 1,250. And it's just like, well, then post the ones that you actually eat the food on, because people are going to get this idea from all of the content that you're creating that that's okay and that's what they should do to lose weight, which is so unhealthy. But then I asked at one point, I was just like, do you mind me asking your qualification to be able to be selling a product on teaching people how to eat? And she blocked me and deleted me and Like, and she deleted the thing from her bio.
Fuck.
She deleted the thing from her bio.
Red flag.
Yes, and she deleted the link to the thing that people can buy from a bio, and someone else looked and it's gone still. So it's just like, I think you have to be careful as to what you're consuming from online, but at the same time, it is hard to know who to trust. I know that I had I've had about 3 or 4 coaches now, and I will say, if you're starting out, to get a coach, but it's so bad because I know how many don't do the right thing as well. So make an informed decision, find someone that you do think is good, look at their clients. I messaged 5, 6 girls that my current coach coached and asked them their experience first. But I do think it's easy as a beginner to be lulled into coaches who, you know, don't really care about you, which sucks. Because my first 2 coaches, I said that I yo-yo diet a lot. I need sweets to continue on a diet properly to be sustainable. And they were just like, okay, chicken and broccoli and no sweet things for the next 12 months. And I was just like, not like that, but do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just, it is hard to know. So with diet culture and things, there are all of these things that are getting thrown around the web. But the thing is that, you know, you can say you want to do keto, you want to do intermittent fasting. They're not diets. They're habits of eating, to me anyway. I find that.
I think that is what a diet is, though, isn't it? Like, a diet is a habit of eating.
I mean,
isn't diet literally what you eat? Like, that's...
Yeah.
I agree. I'm not a fan of all of that, but I also don't want to be dogmatic in the opposite direction. I'm like, if that is helpful for you, do it. Like, great. If that is what you want to do, but it's not going to be for me.
Neither. I like carbs, but this is the thing. If you like eating that way, do it. But you have to understand that the reason you're losing weight isn't because you're eating a keto diet. It's because you're eating less calories. Like,
yes,
you know what I mean? You have to understand.
Same with like intermittent fasting. It's not some miracle cure. The reason that you're losing weight is because you are now eating less.
And you know what's funny? Intermittent fasting actually works more for me because I find that I eat more at night times. So if I can push my meals back as much as possible, I'm eating more in a closer period of time. So I'm full, so I don't snack as much at nighttime. But I'm not losing weight because I'm eating at nighttime. I'm losing weight because I'm eating less overall or in my caloric deficit. But exactly. I think there's a lot of false information out there, and it is hard to know where to get it from, and I completely understand people with that. But that would be my answer if I answered that.
Yeah.
It's hard to know who to trust, but there's a lot of, it's the internet. You're going to find misinformation on anything. I think you just have to do your due diligence and work out what is obviously, work it out. This is the thing as well. I find that people find it's a lot of things are a quick fix. Like we see something that someone else has posted, we're like, oh, that's true. You have to do research and you have to learn. It's just like uni. Not that I went or like it, but you know what I mean? Like you have to look at different sources and different things and come up with a educated opinion. So anyway, that was my rant for the day.
I feel like I've seen, I want to say like Shameless podcast has talked about literally just, I think they've said that there is no benefit to what I eat in a day videos or TikToks or anything, like that the whole idea behind what I eat in a day videos and content is like not good and not beneficial for anybody. Like you don't need to promote what you're eating because like even if you're an expert, it still needs to be tailored to the person who's doing the eating, I guess.
100%.
I will say I agree, but it's hard because I kind of know what I'm talking about, right? So they're helpful for me because if I watch someone who's putting up day in what I eat or whatever, I can get meal ideas. I can get things that I can eat. I can learn how to, you know, if someone's put up like, I don't know, bagels with cream cheese, I'm like, oh, I can do that. But because I know what I'm doing, I can adjust. Maybe I can only fit half a bagel in my calories for the day. Maybe instead of cream cheese, because it has fats, I'll put in jam on the day that I can't have fat and just have carbs. So I guess that it gives me ideas, but you're absolutely right. Everyone's different with their caloric needs and everything, and everyone's different in their journeys for what they need. If you're maintaining, if you're losing, if you're in a surplus, like your journey is different throughout the whole thing, and no one is the same. And I don't think you should ever copy someone's calories, but that needs to be, I think, disclaimed. But that's just me.
This right here is where you're missing out on bonus content. If you want to catch this bonus content, all you have to do is support us on Patreon. All right, shall we do your problem problem for us.
Yeah, look, okay, so I have a couple. This actually has to do with fitness. I need you to solve, and if you come up and make a company, that'd be great.
Sure.
Finding clothes that fit me in a way, because okay, this is my issue. I've been on Glassons, I've been on Kookai, I've been on bloody Cotton On, I've been on all of these things, and I get them and they arrive and they either don't fit my legs and fit my stomach, or they fit my legs and they're really big on my stomach. I need you to solve clothes, basically, which is a big thing to solve.
Take it away, Emily.
Tap out.
Do you find that? It's really hard for me to find things that fit my legs but also then fit my stomach. And I think it could happen to anyone, but especially when you train, I think you do build your muscles in places. Like I focus on my legs and my lower body, and obviously my waist comes in, and then I don't fit my waist and I need to taper things. That's my problem.
I have similar but different in that I find I don't have the same waist to butt problem, but I'm really short, but I have really big legs. So nothing fits around my legs, but also the length of my legs. I don't have any clothing stores. Like I don't know of any, but I watched Emma Chamberlain do a vlog where she literally took like 8 to 10 pairs of pants to an alterer and got them to alter them. And I honestly think that might be the way.
It is the way, and you did solve the problem, so good job. But I do think that if I'm buying clothes,
you want them to fit.
Why am I then buying to get them fit? Anyway, that's just my problem. I also have another one, and this is you can't do anything about this. I'm just going to preface it. If you can't solve it, that's all good, and I've probably ruined your segment. But I want mangoes all year round. I love mango.
Can I tell you, when I lived overseas for a while, I lived in Whistler in Canada, and I love mangoes as well. They have like advertised Australian mangoes in the store, $10 for one. And I, at the time, was skint. Like I was povo because I was making like $10 an hour's pay for one mango.
It's kind of worth it. I would pay. I love mango. I can't wait.
Yeah, but I had to yeah. Oh, one thing. Have you ever had dried mango with like the icing sugar on it?
No.
They have it at, oh my God, it is amazing. So they have like these packets of dried mango in Aldi.
You can get them in like
amazing,
like Asian grocers.
They're probably at Woolies too.
Do them pretty good as well. Dried fruits,
but this is my thing.
I think we have some.
It is dried the same. Like it's not like
no, it's not like a fresh mango. It's not the same. But holy shit, it is delicious. Okay. So that could satisfy your craving when it's not the middle of summer and they're beautiful.
Yeah,
but you can. Yeah, we have them on like with cheese platters. Like we'll have like the dried mango on there as well. Mango. Oh my God.
I love mango. My partner, he loves going to like Southeast Asia and Thailand and all that stuff. And all he told me the whole time was like, I can't wait to go and we'll get mango sticky rice. And apparently it's like the best thing in the world. And we went to there's a Thai place around here in Newcastle and they had it on the menu. But I was like, oh my God, I'll get that. And they're like, oh, sorry, it's only seasonal. I'm like, so I can only get it in like January? I was like, I'm sad. So I need mangoes all the time. That's my problem.
Hard to change the seasons, but yeah, there's that alternative there of the dried mango, which gets me through the winter. But also, you mentioned sticky rice. Something I've had mango pancakes at the noodle markets in Sydney. Oh my God, they're so good. I think the noodle markets are in like May.
See?
It's getting cold.
It's just mango. Everyone needs mango. That's the common denominator here.
100%.
What was I going to say? I think that's it.
I agree with the problem.
Yeah, I love you.
It's a good. It's the right.
I love you though. You're like, look, can't fix the season.
That was good though.
Oh, well,
there's a problem for Sam. Problem for me.
Try those dried mango.
I actually will.
Shit, they're good.
Yeah. So I got my recommendations mixed up.
Oh, that's
I have some of them too.
Let's get.
Yeah,
get into it?
Yeah. Do you want to start?
Me?
Yeah.
I can start. So I want to recommend, I don't know if this is a common problem, but I was feeling like really, really, really like not well lately, like always lethargic, run down, blah, blah, blah. And I went to the doctor and she was like, well, first of all, my recommendation is go to the doctor if you're not well because I've avoided that for a very long time. And I did like my bloods and everything. And she told me that I have like really, really, really super low iron, but also vitamin D. And she just told me to get out in the sun and like to start walking and stuff. So I'm going to recommend, especially in lockdown, we're all stuck in our houses, right? If it's safe to go outside and if you're not around people and everything like that, but I would recommend going out and getting some 30 minutes of sunshine or a walk in, especially coming into summer, because I did that the last couple of weeks, not this week because I've been so busy with all the things I have on, but I felt so good after it. And maybe it's just because I have low vitamin D, but it felt amazing. It was like that feeling when you come home from the gym. I was like, this feels really good. And I felt so much better after. So if you're, and I guess like being stuck in the house is hard all the time. So I feel like my first recommendation, even though it's a little bit serious, but if you can go out for a walk, and also it's funny because I hate walking. So normally I would never recommend this ever. But I think in these trying times, I think it made me feel really good. So maybe it will help someone else.
Even like sitting in the sun, I've got into a habit of I do my morning classes in my office downstairs where there's no sunlight, and then I go and sit out on the couch on the balcony every afternoon and do whatever work I have left because then I can like get some sun on me. And then I always
How good does it feel?
And need to move into the shade and then I get cold. It's not a good pattern, but it's fun to be out in the sun.
See, I love being hot. I don't know what it is. I can stand being hot in the sun all the time. I hate winter. I hate being cold. So for me...
You know what that is probably too? Is if you have low iron, are you really cold sensitive?
Yes.
Like when I get cold, it's like I have a fever.
Yeah.
Like if it gets below like 20 degrees, I freeze to death.
Yeah, same.
I can't stand it.
If it gets below 30 degrees, I freeze to death.
Yeah, but I found out recently because I did the same thing. I was feeling terrible, and I went and got my bloods done. They're like, "You may be allergic to gluten."
Yeah.
I was like, that's all I eat." So
yeah, that'll explain it.
Just literally killing myself. Yeah, but no. Hopefully, I'll start to feel better soon from that. And yeah, I did the same thing. Going for walks in the sun feels great. Especially it was like 25 degrees.
And it warms up. It feels like summer. It's so nice.
Yeah, I agree. My other recommendation, I mean, I have a couple. It's very like conditional because we just finished watching Breaking Bad and it was so good. So I feel like if you have like a really good series that you love, like watch one because they're really good to just relax and rewind with. I know that we always say, let's hustle, let's work, but sometimes it's good to just relax, right? So my recommendation is to chill if you need it. What do you have to recommend for me?
Yeah, Em, go ahead.
I'm going to do the dumb thing that I always do and do 2 recommendations, which I always regret.
Yeah, shoot yourself in the foot for the next episode.
I don't have anything to recommend. But I feel like I can't separate them. And I'm going to do music, so Sam, you should probably pick something else today. Maisie Peters and Gretta Ray both put out their like debut album.
I was going to recommend the Gretta Ray album.
They both put out their debut albums this week, and they're both like pop superstars. It's so good. Maisie Peters is second on the chart. I don't remember which chart it is, but she's second on one of the charts to Kanye, I think.
She's on a chart.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. Like she's like doing
Billboard.
Really well for herself. And they're both amazing, like perfect summer vibes. It's so good. So I think Gretta Ray's is called, what's it called? Bigger Than You? Bigger Than Me? Bigger Than Us?
Oh, I have it here.
Sam's getting it up.
Because I was going to begin to look around.
I was not close at all.
Yes. Bigger than us. Bigger than.
And Maisie Peters is called You Signed Up For This. And they're so good. So listen to the both. And they're friends and they're cute and like, so I'm recommending them together.
Have they toured together?
No, but Gretta Ray did her tour around Europe with Gang of Youth, so I think that they met there.
Oh, that's so cool. Imagine going to...
But I'm making that up, so
gigs.
that might not be true, but I will.
Oh, I miss going outside.
I know. Europe, what a fun
I miss
concept.
the bare minimum.
I do. I miss it.
Yeah, far out.
All right.
I remember
Sam.
before last...
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I remember before last lockdown. No, that's okay. Last lockdown, just before it, I went to my first concert, like festival thing. And like, not that I would ever, I'm not really into those things, but now like I would give anything.
Yeah. I would just love to be surrounded by disgusting, sweaty people.
We have tickets to a concert a festival in January, and booking those tickets made my entire life. Like I was buzzing with energy for like 2 days.
Just have something to look forward to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
Looking forward to that.
All right.
My recommendation.
Yes, even though we stole it.
I was going to recommend the Gretta Ray album, yeah. But no, I have another one. I recommend Dried Mango.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I'm going to go get some. I think we have some in the cupboard. I hope we do. Because now that I can't eat anything anymore, I'll go check out. I'm going to go eat freaking fruit vegetables all the time.
Fruit vegetables.
I'm going to have to just do it. I haven't been to the store since like being diagnosed.
Yeah.
So I have to go and just like buy all kinds of foods
You're like,
that I can
can't
eat
have
now.
this, can't have that, can't.
Do you know every breakfast is fucking full of gluten?
And I love
for the
breakfast.
gluten-free ones.
Yeah. Well, except for the gluten-free.
They make gluten-free
I had an apple with-
everything.
They do now. It's a lot easier these days, but it is hard. Have you noticed that America, like while they have lots of bad food, but they do have a lot more like sugar-free, gluten, like healthier, like low-calorie things than
All
Australia
of their
do?
stuff is packed with like high fructose corn syrup though.
Oh.
So if they say, I don't know if they say sugar-free and those stuff, but like we have a friend who's allergic to corn and she can't, when she goes to America, she just
Can't
has
eat.
to suffer the fact that she just, like everything makes her sick.
Oh, that's sad. Can we recommend travel? Because, like, I know that not everyone resonates with traveling, but, like, I did it years ago and it really grew me as a person, number one.
Yes.
I was 17 when I went overseas, so I was really young and I went over for my 18th birthday and that was the last time I had a holiday, which was, I'm 26 now, so you
God.
do the maths, I'm not good at it. Didn't study in school.
Nearly 10 years basically.
Yeah, and I'm itching to go again. So last year in lockdown, so 2019, I told my bosses, I was like, because I hadn't had any holidays, I'm like, I'm going overseas for like a long time. And then obviously like the lockdowns happened. So I'm like itching to go somewhere because I feel like this has made me realize like I need more from life than to sit in my house. Like, so if you want to travel, that's just what I want to do.
Yeah.
100%. No, I 100%. Like there's quotes about travel being like the best
Teacher.
the educator, like the best teacher. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know who said it, so I'm not going to make myself look dumb.
I'm going to self-promote. We have an episode
But
all
100%.
about how good travel is, don't we?
Yeah. You just get perspective. Oh, no, I shouldn't talk about this.
Okay. I feel like we should wrap it up now. We've talked for a long time. This has been really good.
Yeah.
It's really
Yeah.
fun.
Sorry,
Thank you so
I
much.
do talk a lot.
No,
and
it's good.
I should have
It's
told
good.
you.
Perfect for a podcast.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
That was my problem. I was like, look, I have so much to say. I may as well just get a place where literally all I do is talk.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, let's plug all your stuff
Yes.
now.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
What have you got going on?
Okay, so I just relaunched my YouTube channel. So it's Josie Lifts Things with no spaces. I had one years ago and I don't know if anyone knows about it. All the videos are privated. It actually, what happened was my channel got deleted somehow and I just kind of like never got it back. And then I did get it back recently, but I'd already started a new one. So I've got a new one. And then I've got my podcast, which is Josie Talks About Things. And my Instagram, Josie Lifts Things again. And I'm about to release some products and things and do some fun stuff. So that'll be fun.
Exciting.
All of that will be
Looking forward
linked
to
in the
that.
show notes as always.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so
guys.
much. Thank you for coming and chatting to us and being so honest. And yeah, this has been a really, really great chat. I appreciate it a lot.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Vice versa. Same to you. It's been fun. And thank you so much for having me. And like I said, everything that you said was really like, makes me feel really good. So thank you so much.
I'm glad.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Sam and Ems Solve the World's Problems. If you liked today's episode, please remember to like, subscribe, and share it with a friend. The music is by The Vinyl Press. And that's all that I have to say.
The music is clearly loud in your headphones because you are yelling. No! Share this with your